The Mindflayer is the most difficult common enemy in ULTRAKILL. This guide will teach you a variety of tactics, from the cheesiest to the most stylish in order to deal with Mindflayers. Section 1. Offense. To kill a Mindflayer, shoot at it until it dies. In this section, we are going to cover a variety of high damage tactics against the Mindflayer. Number 1. Instant kill. Can't get faster than an insta-kill. To perform the Mindflayer insta-kill, hit them with an explosion as soon as they're about to release the orbs. The correct timing for an actual insta-kill can be difficult to hit, but it's always worth attempting because it gets rid of the orbs as soon as they spawn. 2. Shotgun overpump. Pump your shotgun 3 times, left click, then quickly dash. The invulnerability frames of the dash will protect you from the explosion. This is the single best move in the game right now. Easy to execute, does tons of damage, does damage in the area, and combined with the whiplash, this is your most useful tool to deal with Mindflayers. You can also get rid of the orbs and even instantly kill them, since the shotgun overpump is an explosion itself. 3. Using the railgun. There are 2 major ways to use the railgun to do tons of damage against the Mindflayer. First, there is the nuke. Simply shoot out a grenade from your shotgun and shoot it with a malicious rail cannon. This does a lot of damage over a large area, also helps you deal with the orbs since the explosion knocks them away. Second, you can rail coin. Toss a coin straight up, then through the Mindflayer. This will cause the railgun's beam to cross the Mindflayer 3 times. This move allows you to do a lot of single target damage, but not very much area damage. Here's how rail coining works. So here I have drawn a little diagram for you guys, and you have V1 here towards the middle, and you have the Mindflayer to the right. When you shoot the rail cannon, it's first going to go through the enemy, scoring 1 hit. It's going to hit the coin behind the enemy, and from the coin behind the enemy, it's going to go to the coin above you, scoring a 2nd hit. And from the coin above you, it's going to seek the nearest enemy, which hopefully will be the Mindflayer, scoring a 3rd hit. You can also use the screwdriver to generate a lot of blood and prevent the Mindflayer from teleporting. However, this does not do as much damage as the other methods listed. There are lots of other ways to deal damage in the game, such as switching your shotgun really quick, shooting them with the pistol, charging up the pistol, shooting them with the nail gun, setting up some saw blade traps. But these are just some of the most effective moves that are easiest to execute and does the most damage. However, if you're good enough at avoiding the Mindflayer's attacks, you won't need to do damage fast at all, which leads us to our next section. Section 2. Defense. The 2 fundamentals of a successful defense is to avoid attacks and regenerate as much blood as possible to compensate for your mistakes. The Mindflayer has 3 attacks, and we will deal with them in the order of easiest to avoid to the hardest. 1. Melee attack. The Mindflayer will swipe at you if you get too close to her, and sometimes will teleport up to you and swipe too. Sometimes you can slide away from this attack, but this is not reliable at all. The safest thing to do is always dash as soon as you notice, then teleport close to you. This attack can also be parried, but does not interrupt the attack. The attack also starts so far away from you that trying to parry is simply not worth it. Plus, they might teleport behind or above you, making parry then almost impossible since you will need to turn to face them really fast. Just simply dash away once you notice them teleport to strike you. Once enraged, she will teleport twice before striking, just delay your dash a little in that case. Getting hit by this attack is very bad. It will knock you away and up in the air, leaving you with very little control over your movement. If you are hit, slam to the ground to regain control as fast as possible. 2. Laser. The laser might appear to be simple, but there are many deceptive elements to it. The laser is telegraphed by a thin blue line before the actual laser, but that line is a liar. Sometimes. There are situations where you are hit in the first frame of the laser if you are moving towards the Mindflayer, which seems to be a bug. The laser also uses predictive aiming, which means that it will try to hit where you are going instead of trying to hit where you currently are. That behavior is similar to the Cerberus's ball. You can exploit this to your advantage. For example, moving towards the Mindflayer while she's readying the laser will cause her to shoot it behind her, completely whiffing. Most of the time, it's enough to simply change the direction you're moving and the laser will completely whiff. However, it will attempt to follow you based off your movement. Sometimes it will move very little, sometimes it will sweep very wide. The laser can be very unpredictable, so there is no real easy way for you to passively avoid it just through your movement. You will have to always be changing up the direction that you're moving to actively avoid the laser. The good thing is that the laser only moves in quote-unquote one direction, which means that once it starts spinning one way or going one way, it doesn't go backwards. So you can use that to your advantage. Jumping over the laser is a very good move, and also just simply moving away from the laser most of the time is enough to completely avoid it. However, just be aware that it is very difficult for you to consistently dodge the laser if you are focusing on many other enemies at the same time. Section 3. Orbs. This is probably the most difficult attack to deal with in Ultrakill, and we will cover a lot of different options on how to navigate around it. So, as we covered in the offense section, explosions will knock the balls away. Additionally, using the Knuckle Blaster will accomplish the same, but beware the charge time. The Knuckle Blaster will be the easiest and most effective tool you have to deal with this attack. However, the Knuckle Blaster is slow and it becomes boring after a little while. For something faster and more exciting, you can try to parry the Mindflayer projectile. You get to gain health back, the potential to return damage, you get a few frames of invulnerability, allowing the rest of the attack to phase through you. And this is a skill that you will want to develop over time playing Ultrakill anyways, so it's always a good idea to attempt to parry the projectiles if you can. The projectiles do speed up over time, so you need to be mindful of that when you are trying to do your mental calculations to parry. It is very easy to parry the projectiles just as soon as they spawn because they move slower than the standard projectile. However, parrying only gets rid of 1 out of 5 projectiles. They might be able to circle around and have another opportunity to hit you. Here I have a picture of how the projectile is supposed to circle you. So first, it's going to move towards you, and let's suppose you dodge to the right. Then the projectile will go through you and try to follow you to the right and circle around. But because of the way that the projectile accelerates, it never actually quite reaches you. So you don't want to move towards the edges of where the projectile is circling, but the middle where you originally dodged is mostly safe. And this is just a 2D trajectory. Obviously, Ultrakill is a 3D game, so the projectile can go up or down or sideways or a combination of all of those. The best way to deal with these projectiles is through your movement. You can take advantage of the fact that the projectiles track you in the same exact way to guide them to walls, floors, and the environment to dissipate the projectiles. The best way to get rid of the projectile through your movement is to guide it downwards. To achieve this, jump up, then slam down after a little while. The projectiles will miss you and impact themselves on the ground if you manage to guide them correctly. You can also try to slide under the projectiles. Section 2-1. Blood! No matter what happens, you're bound to make mistakes and get hit at some point. You will need blood. Parries will get you a lot of blood back, and abusing the whiplash can allow you to be near brain dead while playing. Addendum: Dash Storage. Dash storage is executed by sliding as soon as you begin a dash. The invulnerability from the dash will never end, making you invulnerable for as long as you maintain your slide. This is the most powerful defensive tool in the game, but I personally find using this to take away from the depth and enjoyment of the game. I am teaching you this because you should play the game whatever way you want, and you should have as many tools available as possible. And just because I don't enjoy it doesn't mean that you don't get to enjoy it. Here's some footage of me taking on 6 Mindflayers at once, using some of the tips that I have given here with only a pistol, no whiplash, no knuckle buster. I hope you found this guide useful, and feel free to let